As fentanyl kills thousands of Americans, liberal activists would rather you not hurt the feelings of murderous drug dealers. A pro-legalization advocate mocked all over Twitter after getting offended by a tweet that asked whether fentanyl dealers should get the death penalty. She responded to that by saying this kind of violent rhetoric against drug workers is abhorrent. Most fentanyl sellers are people who use it as well, and they are trying to survive under the same destructive racist system that replaced opium with morphine, then heroin, then fentanyl, the war on drugs. But that soft on drugs approach just isn't going to cut it, especially with more dangerous ones emerging. Biden's drug czar declaring fentanyl laced with animal tranquilizer as an emerging threat.
With declaration of emerging threat, we're sending a clear message to producers and traffickers of illicit xylazine and illicit fentanyl that we're going to respond quicker. We're going to match the challenge of evolution of these drugs supply, and then we're going to protect lives first and foremost.
All right, first, Greg Gutfeld, drug workers, is that the new migrants? We don't call them.
I don't know.
I
don't think it's as glamorous. I mean, do you go to a car worker instead of a car dealer? You know, when you go to a casino, they're called dealers, not workers.
They're called sex workers, not sex sellers.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Look, I think you should target the cartels while you negotiate with them. And I also think you got to legalize drugs. I mean, the only way you're going to have quality control, like prescriptions, and the only way you're going to stop fentanyl poisonings would be to legalize these drugs which people want. The problem isn't with the dealers. The problem is with us, right? We're the demand. They're just the supplier. You know what? You want to know who the drug dealers are? Snoop Dogg was a drug dealer, Jesse. Jay-Z was a drug dealer. 50 Cent was a drug dealer. Mark Wahlberg was a drug dealer. Tim Allen. And you know who opened this segment?
Who?
Kid Rock was a drug dealer. Wow. So I'm telling you, there's a lot of hypocrisy. This is an artificial stance.
Okay.
There's a lot of hypocrisy from Republicans. What do they love and preach to everybody? Capitalism. What do they hate? Regulating it. What is the drug market? Unregulated capitalism. A lot for the first rung onto that ladder of capitalism often is drug dealing for blacks.
Well,
so how dare you?
They legalized drugs in Portland, essentially, and everyone's dying and sleeping on the streets. Do you agree that we should legalize drugs, Judge Janine?
Let me ask you a question. What do you think my answer is to that? Absolutely not.
Okay.
We can't legalize it. And look, here's the thing.
The drug war is working great.
Well, no, because we're not doing everything we need to be doing.
Arrest more people?
No.
Because they're seeking oblivion?
No, what we need to do is we need to close the border where 90% of the heroin and pretty much all the fentanyl comes through. We need to make sure that we've got, look, Joe Biden wants to sanction and financially crippled. We heard this drug czar saying they're going to know that we're serious. Are you kidding? We need to designate them as foreign terrorists so that we can go after them the way we go after terrorists. We need to have military strikes. And I don't care if President Obrador in Mexico thinks we're rude or thinks it's an insult that we would consider doing this. The truth is that if you've got 100,000 people dying, we're in a damn war right now. And these kids are not dying because they want to take fentanyl. They're dying because they want to take maybe an Adderall or maybe they want to take an oxycodone.
That's why you legalize it.
Undeclared war. No, that's not why you legalize it.
That's where you get the control of it. When
Really?
Look, read about Prohibition. The reason why people died during Prohibition was because the alcohol wasn't controlled.
Okay.
Once you control pills,
So
then you know it's an Adderall.
So
then you know it's a Xanax.
So that it's not lethal anymore?
Fentanyl is legal, by the way.
Lethal.
No,
lethal.
yes, but it's also legal.
I know it's legal. Doctors prescribe
It's also
it.
lethal on the street, but not
it's
lethal when it's prescribed.
Well, it's not lethal when it's prescribed. Yeah,
Yes,
I
that's
get
my
it. But
point.
here's the problem, is that the kids who don't want necessarily an illegal drug and only want something that's ordinary and that it's in everybody's medicine cabinet end up taking something
because it's not regulated, because they get mixed. You're agreeing with me.
I'm not agreeing with you.
Yes,
No,
the reason why people... Look, I have had 2 friends die of overdoses from fentanyl.
We all have had friends
for the same
die.
reason you're talking about.
You know
They
what?
didn't know they were taking it.
Yeah,
If it was legal, that wouldn't have happened.
And you know what? But the truth is that people would follow. But the truth is that people are dying of these overdoses because they don't think that there's fentanyl in it, or they don't know that there's that much.
I will rest my case. That's what I said.
You heard about this new drug. I guess it's fentanyl laced with an animal tranquilizer.
Right.
Had you heard of that before?
I have. Angel dust. Angel dust was a horse tranquilizer that was the first diversion to the illicit market. First of all, let me say this was a fascinating conversation. And I tend to agree with Greg. After trillions of dollars in the failed war on drugs, I don't think that prohibition.
Because we haven't done the war
and
properly.
I also think that Republicans.
Just say no is not a war.
But
what is a war then?
You referenced.
You take out the drug pins.
But if you could take out the drug kingpins, I mean, target the cartels with military strikes,
right?
As several prominent Republicans are advocating, then why can't Mexico target our gun manufacturers? Because we're flooding Mexico with guns, hundreds of thousands of guns every year that they're using in all this violence.
Guns don't get up and say, I'm going to go out today and kill somebody.
If we're going to bomb Mexico, why don't we bomb China? China's the source of the fentanyl.
Great.
I mean, you just cannot. You cannot do
all right,
these kinds of actions.
Let's legalize it.
That's why I think
that goes.
We have to, at some point, you have to say it's not right. I'm like the Walter Cronkite of the drug world. I've covered every drug from 1970. I was there when Nixon started the war on drugs. It's not working. It doesn't work. We've got to confess it at a certain point. Trillions of dollars wasted, no controls. What's
killed more people, alcohol or pot?
Exactly.
It's the easiest comparison one could make.
Exactly.
Dana P.
Well, I'm going to go back to the workers thing for a second, because, again, I do think that the Democrats, the next move will be to unionize them, and then we'll see what the Chicago convention is like after that. But it also reminds me of, you can no longer say somebody is homeless. You have to say they are unhoused. And that softens the blow as if it's supposed to be meaningful to them. And the words about what you call this are more important than actually solving the problem. I wish that in the metaverse, maybe Mark Zuckerberg could work on this. Like, in the metaverse, could there be an experiment where you do legalize, okay, and actually the way that you describe it, where people could come in, look, I just want an Adderall, fine. Are you 18? Fine. Sign off on it, give it to that person, and see how it goes. Because I agree what we're doing is not working, or maybe we're not. I agree we're not doing enough of it, but I also think on the demand side, there's something that has to happen. But I want the experiment to happen in a place where it's safe. So in the metaverse would be a good.
Or Peru, or Amsterdam.
All right. Well, when we come back, Greg is going to promise to stay just as passionate as he's been the entire hour.
It's only been 2 blocks.
Ahead, a huge crackdown coming for social media companies over tech addiction.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.